Tonight, Uhuru Kenyatta, as he told you, and Raila Odinga have found a new battleground in the post-presidential debate. Odinga is citing Kenyatta for not showing up yesterday, but Kenyatta says the debate would have been a waste of his time. Was this a golden opportunity lost for Kenyatta, and did Odinga fully exploit the occasion? We ask you tonight, did the presidential debate change your choice of candidate? If yes, why? Again, if no, why? Or why not? You can share your thoughts on Twitter using the hashtag #TheBigQuestion. Text us on 22422. Let's take a look at what you're saying first on Twitter. Right, Pamina Sanchez, big yes. I was undecided before the debate, but because only one person attended the job interview and the other one was disqualified, obviously. Okay. Faisal Awale says that was a job interview that Uhuru neglected and Raila respected. We, the citizens, are the ones who employed Uhuru, and he disrespected us. David Murimi thinks otherwise. No one is telling us what Raila said. Everyone is talking about how Uhuru did not attend. Okay, that's an interesting one. Rose Kirwa, I'm just wondering where all the undecided voters are. Seems to me everyone is decided. Uhuru did no mistake. Right, and our guest tonight, one of them is already nodding his head after that last tweet I just read. That is David Murade, who's the Vice Chair, Jubilee Party. NASA Secretariat CEO Norman Magai is also in studio, lawyer Kamodo Waiganjo, and political analyst Haman Manyora. Thank you, gentlemen, for making time for us. I'll first start us by saying, and I'll look at the bites by Uhuru and Odinga later on, earlier today. But first, was this a lost opportunity for Kenyatta? I'll start with you, Kamodo.
I'll first give you my own personal view, and then I'll tell you the broader perspective we need to look at. I think if you ask me, and a couple of President Kenyatta supporters will tell you that I prefer that he was there. And it is not because for the reasons that people say, because of accountability, humility, and all that. But I think because, among other things, it is helpful in a country where the tensions over elections are very high. People are leaving Kibera in other places. It's important to see our two top candidates talking, you know, arguing gently with one another, chiding each other. I think it is healthy. But I think we need to be careful not to raise this issue of the debate as if it's now a violation of the Constitution, you know, and like it is one of the State of the Nation address. Hello, this is just an arrangement made by private media owners for several reasons, and I don't think that's the ultimate theater of accountability. I don't think it is say that the president disrespected the nation because he didn't appear in a TV debate. It would have been good, but I don't think the ultimate thing is that the ultimate decider of Uhuru's respect for the people of Kenya is whether he appeared on the debate or not. It is about politics, and I think if his political strategist thought there is no value in the debate, respect the man.
Was that a strategy, David?
What debate are we talking about?
Last night's debate.
There was no debate. It was a debacle.
Okay, according to
how
you.
do you debate?
So was that a strategy?
How do you debate with yourself? I don't think there was a debate.
Because Kenyatta did not show up.
Just like any other interview. You have held one with the Tinga. I wish you can do one with the president. If it's about espousing his vision. You see, there's a big difference here, Hussein. People need to understand. The president is not a candidate per se. He's a candidate. He's a president. Raila should have gone to debate with his fellow candidates who are looking for the job. When you're interrogating the president, you are asking about his scorecard. There was nobody to compare with. I mean, these are people who are now giving promises of what they intend to do, like they did in 2013, and Kenyans didn't give them the job. So, to a large extent, I think it was a big fiasco, if you ask me. It is not about strategy. It's about the terms of engagement. We have even discussed with the media owners that Wakili here is talking about the process and the procedures. We know how these debates happen in other democracies like the UK and the US, where people engage. You have a debating commission, not a private company. You agree on the rules of engagement, and you agree on the diaries of the participants. In this case, we just woke up to find adverts in the press saying Uhuru Kenyatta is coming on this day, period, finished. It was blackmail. They were trying to force his hand to attend.
You have talked about that several times. The president has, the deputy president has, the Jubilee team has talked about that.
Right.
The Debates Media Limited has also said several times that they've consulted and they consulted you.
Right.
But either way, you are now saying you don't take Uhuru Kenyatta as a candidate per se. You cannot compare him with the rest. So is that the reason why he didn't show up?
To a large extent, I think that was the wrong forum. Because if you want to interrogate the president, you're interrogating the record of his 4.5 years. These other guys are promising what they're likely to do for the country. And by the way, if you listen to the talk today, it was not about the debate. It was about his not attending. That is what has featured the whole day. And we are asking ourselves, if you ask people, what did Raila say yesterday? Nobody remembers.
No man.
I think Jubilee has many fasts, and this is just one of them. I think listening to the entire conversation since before the debate happened, during the debate and after, Jubilee has advanced all manner of excuses, and I don't think they're about to run out. They seem not to have a shortage of excuses, and really you can't place your finger on why exactly the president didn't show up. I think debates are part of a feature of all democracies, that you will open yourself up, that you demystify the feature that is a politician and render yourself to public scrutiny. It's a good thing that ordinary citizen can see you being put to question and interrogated, whether on the promises you are making or on your performance. So the issue that the president had nobody to compete with because he is an incumbent is neither here nor there. Even Museveni, having done that 1 year, had the grace to attend the presidential debate in Uganda and subject himself to scrutiny. So either way you look at it, I think it's a missed opportunity. It's not the NASA supporters actually who are disappointed. Looking at conversation on social media, it's actually the Jubilee supporters who feel let down that their candidate could not man up.
Do you agree with him that you were not consulted? Were you consulted?
There were consultations, without doubt.
So why did you miss the deputy president's debate?
We had issues. We consulted with these guys back and forth, until we said, okay, we've reached an agreement, we will attend. The deputy president's debate, I think I was able to communicate to the organizers that the time that debate was happening, our running mate had gone out of the country.
But there were consultations prior.
There were consultations, but there was no conclusion. And shortly after the running mate debate, we did announce that we will be attending. And we were here with Mrathe, and I told him we will be there. He actually promised to persuade
the vice president to actually attended Catholic University on the day. He went inside, and then he walked out. So to say that he was out of the country is factually not correct.
You know, there are facts you can't change.
He was there.
I'm the one who received Kalonzo there. He was coming back.
He came on
the
University.
Let's get Herman's response to this.
No. I think I agree with Waiganjo that, there's nothing constitutional about attending. I also agree with Waiganjo that seeing these two gentlemen together at a time like this, in an election as hotly contested as this, would have been a good thing. But again, to inform our friend David here, really, even in America, sitting president seeking a re-election attend debates. So there's nothing wrong with a sitting president attending a debate. More substantively, I know there are people who argue, and to a large measure it is true, that Kenyans vote along tribal lines. But people are already decided, and that whether Uhuru went or not, it won't make a difference. You could be true, you could be right, but there's also the possibility that there are new dynamics in this country, Hussein. There is a small group of people in this country. They are small today, they'll grow, who are beginning to see they are neither Kikuyus nor Luos. They are just suffering Kenyans. They feel the pinch just like your brother feels. Then we also have 9 million plus voters who are young. They will still vote because they are Kikuyus and they are Luos and Pokoma and Luya. But a debate like this offers an opportunity for you to reach some element of this population. Not much, but I can assure you, you can get a bit of it your side. And that's why I'm convinced, by not attending the debate yesterday, Uhuru allowed Raila to move to 54% from 53%.
There's so many platforms of
from 53.
engaging.
What do you mean from 53? From 53%?
I've always
from
said,
43.
I've said that standing now, Raila is at 53%. That was up until the
According
debate.
to...
So he has gained 1 percentage
Based
point.
on what? What kind of research?
We know
or
this
what kind
country.
of...
We know this country. I've told you the heartbeat of the country. You can feel it. The pulse, the heartbeat. You can even go to, governors. I can tell you, go to Machakos, I'll tell you, for example, by 9 o'clock,
okay.
Peter will have one. We know these things.
And fortunately, we know our numbers, and they know our numbers, and we know they know.
And you know
so we are talking about waiting for the 8th of August. These guys are talking about a highly emotive and explosive confrontation. These guys were spoiling for a fight. If somebody wants to fight you and you tell them, I'm sorry, I am not prepared to fight.
That's what you're talking about.
Exactly. They were in a fighting mood. And you say, oh, I'm not going to engage in cheap fight in the mud and whatever. They go away getting very, very upset. I watched the debate. For the first part of it, it was about what's his name, Kakai, taking on Raila and his scandals. On the other one, it was an opportunity for Raila to give his vision for the country. I'm asking my friend here to tell us one single thing that he said that would improve his numbers. One
thing that he said?
Yes.
Why don't you allow me to give you several?
One only.
Ask me the most important thing he said.
What did he say?
The most
that will improve his numbers.
The most important thing is to reassure Kenyans that we are one, there will be peace in this country, these elections will be peaceful, don't run away from Nairobi, don't overstock your house, don't hoard food. So that message was powerful.
And now that they are
it resonates with the Kenyans.
Now that you're talking about Raila, and you're talking about you think they were spoiling for a fight.
Yes.
Is that the demeanor we saw from Odinga yesterday? We talked about Uhuru, whether Uhuru lost an opportunity yesterday, but did Raila also seize an opportunity? How did he perform?
I think there are two positive things that Honorable Raila did yesterday. One is that in the debate, and for lack of a better word, I'll use the word humanized. The debate humanized him. He came out fairly soft and easy. And I think that was helpful to those who still consider him as dangerous and an ogre, you know, and that was good because he didn't look frightful and fearful. So that was good. I think the other thing is towards the end of the debate, the affirmation that he will, if he loses the election, he'll hand over. He will concede, and there's no crisis. This country will continue after the elections. That was good. But I think the Prime Minister lost tremendous opportunities to present his platform. In fact, if you watch the debate, because I watched it live and then watched it after, 90% of the time, the former Prime Minister was like he's on a podium, criticizing Jubilee. The same stories that are given on the podiums day after day are the same ones he repeated. He had 90 days to sell himself, 90 minutes to sell himself, without anyone contradicting. It would have been excellent for him to present platforms about change and what it is that really NASA is going to do. I think he lost an opportunity to do that and spent too much time doing the criticism work. You know who's saying what they say. It doesn't take a lot of intelligence to criticize. You know, anyone can criticize. And I'm not saying so therefore there's no. I'm just saying that if you have an opportunity like that, what you do is present yourself, and the Prime Minister is an extremely capable person to present himself. He lost that opportunity.
Do you think so, Maga?
I don't think so. Two things. One, that even presented with an opportunity to attack Uhuru, and which completely demystifies what Murathe is referring to. He actually did, when confronted the question that the country's politics have been held hostage by the Kenyattas and the Odingas. Yeah. He actually went in defense of the Kenyattas. He didn't go against the Kenyattas. And that really demystified the continuous tensions across the elections between the Kikuyu and the Luo community. I think that was diffused. Secondly, is that in all scenarios where there was criticism, the Honorable Odinga was put to question as to what will he do differently from what he thought his predecessors were doing wrongly. And he didn't go against the president as a person. He talked about the craftsmanship of the government, what they were doing wrong, and what he thought he will do differently. So I don't think there was a lot of opportunity. I think if it was the president present and Raila was absent, you will have had more demeaning words about the person and character of Raila.
Hussein, I think the problem, Hussein, was that even in the, and it's true, I think the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga did give solutions, but a lot of those were actually contradictions. Let me give you two easy ones. On corruption, the former Prime Minister says, why has Uhuru failed? Uhuru went to Parliament and mentioned people's names without any evidence, without taking them through due process. With the same mouth, he then goes on to attack people over whom there's no evidence. They say, why were they not sacked? He would have Magufuli them. You use the name of someone like Magufuli, who has jailed the chairman of the Law Society of Kenya, to say that is going to be your policy. And number two, take the issue of security. I would have expected the Prime Minister, who was the chair of the Security Committee in the Grand Coalition government, to actually give very cogent proposals on this issue, but not in a contradictory manner. If you look at the record of the Grand Coalition government on terrorism, the largest attacks on terrorism was actually between 2011 and 2013. That is when we had the attacks on churches, on buses, and the solutions, therefore, that the Prime Minister was giving, as different from the Jubilee government, were not convincing. So what I'm saying, it's not that he gave solutions, but they did not look well thought through.
Okay. I think Hussein is now my turn, because he is very presumptuous about how Uhuru would have behaved if he had the platform by himself or to himself in the absence of Raila. My friend, we have come a long way, and I think one of the reasons we're having this conversation is so that we put that mandatory. It's not like a matter of life and death to have the debate. Raila has missed the national prayer breakfast. There was a KEPSA meeting for peace in Ukunda this year. He was invited. He refused to attend. I mean, there was even a prayer rally here the other day at Uhuru Park. He was invited. He didn't go. So what's such a big deal about Uhuru not attending a media event which was hyped to interrogate two different sets of people? In the case, why did Raila refuse to debate the other so-called minnows, and you expect Uhuru to bring himself to Raila's level?
I think it's...
let's get Banyana perspective here.
I think I like what Waiganjo is saying, but I need to point out one thing. If you do not understand the DNA of NASA, you are likely to miss a lot of things. If I read NASA properly, and they are missing it a bit, if they are stuck there, then in fact by this time this game will be over. You people, the DNA of NASA is about software. Running across Raila's presentation yesterday, if you want to call it a debate, was the issue of software. That a lot of the problems that affect us in this country are not about you could have put up a better SGR or at a lesser cost or a wider road and etc. etc. It is about things like corruption, theft of public property. It's about tribalism. It's about how these affect the cost of living. So that software is what is running through the NASA campaign, and you can very easily miss it by trying to involve NASA in the hardware. And I made a bit of that mistake. In fact, when you people launched the manifesto, I just laughed.
Okay, I'll get two more comments here on 22422 so that we can ask the next question now. Because you are asking whether this changes your choice of candidate. Hussein Senior, I don't know if he wants me to call myself Junior, Hussein Senior from Ola, Tana River County, says, yes, the president was right. No need for Uhuru to attend the debate. His absence will not change the minds of the voters, as every voter has made a decision of who to vote for. Zach from Moja says, yes, Hussein, I changed my mind. I will vote Raila. He had time to explain his agenda to me. This time round, he acknowledged I was the boss. Uhuru's failure to attend was a rude gesture. So that, my next question would be, I mean, does it change anything ultimately in as far as the election is concerned and numbers? Do you think that debate, Uhuru not attending, Raila attending, does it change anything?
I said yes. I said this. I said many people are already decided. I said that. I also said we vote along tribal lines. So that this debate is unlikely to change, say, Akikuyu to vote for Aluo just because of the debate. But I also did point out there is emerging a small group of Kenyans. It's growing. By the next election, it will be big enough to change things, which are going to be voting on the basis of issues and not tribe. There are not many. And I've also mentioned some of these people are young people who are educated.
There may not be in sufficient numbers, but I've also told you they have had, this debate has had the impact of moving NASA a percentage point up.
Hussein, this narrative about undecided voters is wishful
Because
thinking.
in the polls we've been seeing there's about 8%.
And even last
undecided
week
voters.
it come down to like 2 or 3.
5%.
It is a NASA,
5%.
it's a NASA narrative. When their numbers don't add up, they want people to believe that those undecided are likely to be influenced by 90 minutes, whereas we have had 4.5 years to interrogate these people. For people like Kalonzo, 25 years. For people like Raila, we have had them on the scene. So I don't see what this 90-minute magic,
change anything, that's what
it
you're thinking.
changes nothing.
In terms of numbers, nothing.
We
else.
have other platforms where we can engage this constituency that he's talking about. I've just told you, we can even invite you to his home and have this conversation the same way you've had it with Raila. We are going to plan town halls with this constituency he's talking about and have a direct interactive with the president and ask all these questions. But for the stature of the president to engage with
10 million Kenyans who are watching.
Raila,
10 million Kenyans.
he
who are
has
watching.
other platforms.
8.9 million.
Yeah,
Other
people
platforms.
watching, yeah, it's quite
We know the
popular.
numbers, so let's not go there because it's not about that.
Okay.
But I'm saying the president has his own plan about how he's going to engage with the citizenry of this country. One of which could be your interview, another one a town hall somewhere. He will take and field questions from Kenyans, not a stage managed group selected to go to Catholic University with set questions, prepared, pre-prepared.
Okay.
We want an impromptu, spontaneous interaction. He's quite happy to do that.
I think Hussein, I would love to agree with Herman Manyora that I mean, debates can change some voters. I think my only problem with last night's debate is that I'm not sure that there's anything I heard from Honorable that I haven't heard before. You know, so that I can now change my mind. Actually, other than that, he looked softer. I like the story about the problem with his eye. I think that humanized him for many people because that reminded us of the old Raila. But I think part of the problem with the narrative yesterday is that there are very many unanswered questions. In fact, I think the interrogators were a disappointment. When Honorable Raila talks about corruption and how he's going to be the new Magufuli, if you look at the counties that court controls, we have humongous challenges in that area. Would have expected that some of those people would have been chased from that political party by now, if the party truly believed. So the problem is believability. That is the problem. And if you're not believable, you're not going to shift the gauge. So great thing, it would have changed views if he had performed better on terms of issues.
Raila cannot talk about corruption.
8.9 million people watching, arguably the largest campaign stage. Because it depends on how you go to campaign and why you campaign in certain areas. But don't you think that was a lost opportunity for Uhuru? Was it, do you think? The number of people watching at the time?
You can bring a film star or a musician and the numbers would even be higher watching. We have had these shows. I like what Kamodo is saying, that there is absolutely nothing new he said that he does not say at a press conference or on a public rally or a public platform. That which would endear him. If anything, we just saw him calling Kaikai. He called Kaikai Joe again like 5 times.
I think Hussein, if you're saying he said nothing new that you have not heard, then the credit you give to him is consistency. That he has ideological coherence and consistent that he has seen across a period of time.
Only that it doesn't shift anything.
Secondly, I don't want to look at the impact of the debate as an event. I want to look at the impact of what was said. And I will pick out one thing that I received so many calls and messages. The question of welfare of single mothers in this country. I think it's a raw nerve that no one had touched. I received so many calls, so many messages saying nobody has ever spoken about this. This has touched me and today I'm changing my vote. So you look at, and you are dealing with an election where every single vote counts. I don't want to disabuse the notion by Mradhe. There is no democracy that has no undecided voters. It is not there. The undecided voters are there. You could differ with the percentages, but every democracy has those voters who actually make up their decision based on a few events in the campaign that shape their opinions, that shape their considerations at the time of voting.
Haman, as you wind up, and this is a question for you and Waiganjo, because you are in NASA and you're in Jubilee and NASA. You don't have to, if you want to, but I don't think it's proper. Did the other candidates, because it wasn't Raila Odinga only yesterday, we had Ekuru Aukot, Professor Michael Onana, Dr. Japheth Kavinga. Did they perform well? Does it change anything for them as well? As you wind up, yeah.
Before that,
yeah.
I must respond to what Waiganjo has said. I was not picking many of the things you expected Raila to say. But if you listen to Raila's closing remarks, some of those things have the effect of touching people, that Kenyans have a debt with destiny on the 8th of August. Those are not empty words. When history is written many years from now, Waiganjo, those are some of the things that would have been responsible for the victory of Raila if he won. I know many people never get me right. When I say Raila is at 54, they think I'm saying he will win. I'm saying, well, let me answer your question about these other candidates. I didn't quite watch, because I'm among those who believe that this race is between Raila and Kenyatta. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was only possible for what he's saying to happen because Uhuru didn't appear. If Uhuru had appeared, this inflaming of tensions and temperatures would have gone like 10 times decibels. All right? These narratives about free everything, and NASA has this story, everything will be free. In fact, they tell you, just go and have a baby, and the government will look after. That's utopia. People, Raila has been in government, he's been head of coordinating government bits, he knows how government works. And these promises, who are you going to promise next?
But you know you have stolen more than any other government. That's why you don't have anything else to share. Because for every coin you spend, you steal one.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's get.
If you want us to go there, we can go there.
Let's get the winning comments from the other candidates.
I think the other candidates were good for theatre, and you know, I mean, and it was interesting, and they had some good things to say, and maybe what they do is they extract the issues, but there was a tremendous amount of naivety about how you resolve Kenya's very complex problems. I think that across the board you sense that there was not a proper understanding of how government works. So that there were very many promises, but if you ask, you can't on the one hand reduce the tax burden and at the same time have a very huge social program. Exactly. It is impossible. But you see, it sounds good.
All right.
Good soundbite.
All right. Kamodo Waiganjo is a lawyer. Thank you for making time for us tonight. Okay, very briefly, because now I mean he'll have to respond to you, I'm sure.
What I'm saying is, on this desk we are moving towards elections, and I think we must reassure Kenyans, the way Raila did, that there's going to be peace. I also thought I would add something, which I hear this narrative repeated all the time. I want to assure Kenyans, nobody will steal this election. It is not possible to steal this election. Nobody can be president after 8th of August unless they've won. Never mind, they could be sworn in or declared winner. The person who will be president of the Republic of Kenya after 8th will be the person who will have won the election.
They did not answer your question. Your question was whether by appearing those three would add up some marks. Dida, in the last election in 2013, was my hero. If I was not voting for Uhuru Kenyatta, I would probably have voted for Dida.
Based on the debate.
He beat Martha, he beat almost Peter. Now, you are saying it has no impact. Of course it has. He had like 70,000 votes.
So
we won by 8,000. Because all the votes cast against you are put in one basket.
Correct.
So you have a potential for Ekuru picking 10,000, 20, 50.
You're probably right.
So, I think it was important for them to do the debate.
Until they get to 1%.
So you agree then that this debate
for the people who are looking for a job. Not the people who are...
All right, that is the Jubilee Party Vice Chair David Murathe, NASA Secretariat CEO Norman Magaya, Kamodo Waiganjo is a lawyer, and Herman Manyora, political analyst. We are asking you tonight, did the presidential debate change your choice of candidate? Why or why not? Keep talking to us. The hashtag is the big question on Twitter. You can text us on 22422. We're back after this break.